with officer discretion, do you feel comfortable without the cameras? Is there still a high risk on these discretionary checks?
Well, I mean, in the perfect world, cameras are important risk management tool. But I certainly think that the change was having the mandate at the arrest stage significantly reduced the risk of a successful suit. And as I say, I don't want to ever leave that hanging. I think that what we were going to be doing before was lawful, but it was certainly high risk.
Can you go through us what it means to check someone's status?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'll give it to you real, fairly simple. It's pretty simple. Asking a few questions, and then determining based on the answer to those questions where to go from there. And I don't want to go into the details of what those questions are, but you can imagine what they are.
So anyone would be asked these questions?
Yes, under this new policy, yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. 2 questions. One is, can you just be very explicit about why it was high risk before? And also, before July 10th of 2007, how often did officers ask about immigration status?
Why it was high risk before? It was a new area. Was in all immigration enforcement by local law enforcement is a new area of responsibility. Law will be made based on cases around local law enforcement being involved in immigration, and that's nationwide, as most of us know. So I say it was high risk because it's a new area of responsibility for law enforcement, and we have, as I've repeated many times, we have very limited, almost no authority in local law enforcement to enforce federal immigration law. So when we get into that, even though I was convinced that what we were doing, the policy was lawful, it's still high risk because it's new, and because there's so much attention, and as we've seen in our community, there are such dramatic emotions on all sides of it, polarization of communities around the country. So there are people out there are very interested in suing, regardless. And we're in the middle sometime on that. So we would anticipate suits. When you move that to the arrest stage, we are having a higher standard. We're proving a higher standard. Well, we have probable cause to believe a person committed a violation, and then normally it's going to be there's more factors in there in that decision to arrest someone than simply to when we're encountering someone or detaining. Your first one was how many inquiries we made before July?
Before July 10th, before the immigration resolution.
We did not keep any statistics on that, but I would suggest it would be probably in the hundreds. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But as I've told the board before and the community in different forums, in recent years, since 1992, we started seeing an emerging gang problem in the county. And we saw much of that was a Latino gang issue. And we started working with immigration authorities during that time, related mainly to the criminal gang activity that we were seeing. And we probably ran, I don't have an idea how many we'd run a year, but it was numbers. And we also had immigration authorities put detention on individuals that were criminal gang members who were here in the county and they were illegal. We did have some relationship with ICE prior to the resolution in July. Did that answer that?
Right, I just wanted to know if it was sort of fairly routine that there were immigration status checks.
No, I wouldn't say it was routine. It was mainly related to serious crimes.
Serious crimes.
I mean,
Has there been a drop in crimes in this period that you've increased or counted immigration checks?
I'm not prepared to talk about that today. You know, increases, decreases in crime in short terms sometimes aren't that significant, but you really have to look at it carefully. We've seen some increases in different categories of crime, some decreases. And if you then you analyze that by the area, or different areas of the county, so it's a complex discussion that I don't think I should get into today. I can't give you an easy answer to that. Sir.
Question about the prior to the physical custodial arrest, with the reasonable suspicion. Will the ability to speak English, is that taken into consideration? Is that a reasonable suspicion if someone
By itself, certainly not.
One more thing, Chief. Because you talk about this being such a new area of law enforcement for your officers, it brings me back to the training question and this question of whether an hour at roll call is enough to sort of implement.
As the Major mentioned, we're not talking about an hour at roll call standing alone. What we're talking about is we had a full day of training.
All of your officers?
All of our officers.
Okay.
After the resolution last year was put in place, we did a full day of training involving ICE officials, our county attorney, our staff. So it was a full day of training, and the media was invited to that.
Okay.
Not all of it, but one full day. What did it take, about an hour? But so this is supplemental to that, and this training that I'm talking about that they'll get before we put this in place is just about the revisions. They understand, they get it. Other than that, pretty much. Thanks so much. I like you, lad.